Welcome to BW Healthcare World. In today's day and age, when technology is an enabler, it is also helping different players in the ecosystem collaborate with each other to bring patient centric services. One such company allowing hospitals to build continuum care and impact the quality of services is a company called Lifesigns. Today, my guest is Mr. Hari Subramaniam, who's the founder and the CEO of Lifesigns. Welcome, Hari, to BW Healthcare World. And Life Science is using technology to provide real time monitoring and connecting patients with the medical setups. Now, how did you start working on it? Because, most of the business ideas of such kind of concepts emerge out of your own experiences. Is there some story behind how Life Science took off?
Yeah, so that's how it started. Say, I am. It's a disclaimer, but I tell people, say don't tell that. I'm not from the medical field, nor I'm from the. I don't have a technology background also. So I fit in well with. That's why I fit in well with this because I look at things from out of the box, from outside. I see how things work. Only thing is my logical brain, I think, fairly works well. So you say, boss, why is there a gap? So, because there's no template for my thinking. So, how I came into this, two reasons. One is I was a patient and I was a patient for quite some time. Okay. So, I'm a cancer survivor. So, I've been in and out of hospitals for quite some time. So, the problem with cancer is most of the time in the hospital, you will be all right because chemo will be going on or something will be going on. You are left with nothing to do. Okay. So you will be just looking around, listening to something. Those days, the internet was not very popular. So you don't have a choice but to read something or just look around, chat, and or lie down. So you keep flipping around, thinking about what's happening and all that. That is one. So when that time I saw a lot of gaps in the whole system. Gap meaning use about 20, 30 devices to come to a conclusion or do a treatment plan or to want to understand about a patient. Okay. There is no single window or a dashboard for a doctor or anybody to go and have a look. So the doctor always depends on different reports which comes on different time and different devices and which are manually written. So that's where most of the problems are actually when you are there chemo. Those days chemos were about 2 days, 3 days and all that. So you actually notice what the nurse is doing and you see a lot of gaps in the whole thing where it should not be. Okay. Where accuracy and time is very important, but that's where most of the flaws are. That is one. And this is running in my mind for quite some time. And I have some business interest in US, and so I keep visiting. And with the friends, we do some business in US. My neighbor is a semiconductor design company, and those guys are specialized in designing semiconductor chips for healthcare industry. I think they're one of the very prominent or top guys in that. I know them as friends and neighbors, not as I know they are doing something with technology. So we don't, they're too tech, so we don't understand much. Only thing we understand is that we chai and property chat and all that because we walk across to have chai from the office. So we keep talking about everything. I'm interested. I keep talking to them. And at one point, they told me what they are doing. Actually, we just walked in because I lost the key of my office, so I was sitting in their office inside, and the whole afternoon I was working from there. So I was talking to them. Then they showed me what all they are doing and all that. They're basically OE guys who do semiconductor design or chip design for big guys like 3M, Philips, and all those people. So then I was sharing it was why you guys are not helping healthcare, because that's where is needed much. And they said that's what they're doing. Okay. And I was telling them these are the gaps I could see. And the conversation went off after that. It's quite some time. Then I keep meeting them. Then when was my last trip, I met them. It's in 2019. They said they've made one sensor, small one, which they want to try, and they've never tried because they've never been a B2C people. They've always been a OE guys. So I said, let me try. So they asked me, why don't you have good connects? Why don't you try? You only gave this idea. So why don't you go and try? So they gave me a few prototype which they have done, which I brought it to India and gave it to my friends, and we started going to hospitals, doing proper study with this. We gave it to cardiologists, we gave it to hospitals to put this and say it was in a different shape, and the software platform was very like infant stage. So this is learning. The good thing what we did was we went around about maybe during COVID, which this started in 2019, end of 2019, and 2020 COVID started. So with the COVID, we were going around to hospitals, about 90 hospitals we would have traveled pan India in by road, because the time travel was also not there. And somebody connected us to somebody, somebody connects. For example, a friend in CMC connected us to PGI. The PGI doctor connected us to ESI doctor, and like that. So we were going everywhere. Faridabad, from Faridabad, we went to Assam and all that. So everywhere we deployed and sat there and started taking notes, see feedback from the doctors and all that. And one point, say I did it because I wanted to give something, because I was not looking this as a business at that point of time. Frankly, I didn't look this as a business. I thought, let's give something. And no, I'm not sounding very saintly that I'm philanthropic and all that. I didn't have this idea. So these guys are doing something. Why don't we connect both? Okay. And it worked well. So we went around doing a lot of work, really a lot of work. We took feedback. Then we started increasing the numbers in Bangalore, where people will start. So this problem is there. Why don't one team started working on that problem? We have another problem. So one team started working on this problem. And the first, it was connecting through a mobile phone. So the patch has to talk to something so that the data comes to the screen. So we're using a mobile phone earlier. That was a very nightmarish logistical nightmare. So in hospitals, we started losing the phones. So then one full team worked for about 7 months. Then we brought in this network inside the hospital where the patient can walk around with a patch. All this kind of lot of additions we started doing, small additions. We were having an accelerometer which was telling you the position of the patient, supine or he's lying down or sitting. In that, one nurse gave a small idea. Why don't you, if you can put a small timer, you can do bedsore. She didn't give it in so technology. She said, if you can add a watch or something like that, we know the time, right? So I asked her, why do you want to know the time? She said, then we can actually, before the bedsore can kick in, we can go and change the position of the patient, which is a very simple thought. We didn't think about it. Like this, we have taken ideas from the hospital, plenty. And we came to the board again, redraw, add something like that. And today, so one point, all this was done. Okay. And I said to Life Signals, the company's Life Signals in US, I told them, hey boys, I think everything is good. Then all the best. Go ahead. That time they turned back and see, what do you mean all the best? We came this far and did all the dirty work going around. Why do you want to leave now? I said, hey boss, I don't have the bandwidth and I don't want to get into any commercial venture. because I don't want to go back to that 9 to 5 corporate tie, boot suit, and all travel around and all that. I don't want to do all this now. But they didn't leave me because we have a very good relationship. And they said the whole idea was brought by you. Though the IP is there, we worked on the technology, everything is fine. But the idea and how it was driven, we didn't even have this idea before. So why do you want to go now? Please, let's go together. So I started in India. Then we started working together, and here we are.
Beautiful. I mean, when you have the right intent and you want to do the good, you
Hmm.
get good people come into your connect and you
Exactly.
make things happen. So,
Yeah.
it's so beautifully crafted out
Hmm.
product which is need based, and you
Hmm.
got the right people who actually gave back to you. Said that they were honest people.
Yeah.
Who align with you.
That's
That's
why I started working with them. Otherwise, I would have said, "Okay, thank you very much." I would have walked off. They
right.
were also nice, and there's all every point there is some divine intervention was there. Whatever you call it, some
Beautiful.
place we hit a wall. Yeah, boss, what is it? It's not working. Then we come back. Something will happen,
Right.
and it will work. Started. Okay,
Absolutely.
somebody will give an idea.
Absolutely. So, Hari, when you're looking at technology in healthcare, there are
Hmm.
lots of companies that are working on technology. They are even looking at including AI, and and a lot of companies are also working on point of care equipment, wireless monitoring systems. How is life science different from everyone in this space as on date?
Okay, so technology wise, so far what we have seen, ours is the near real time continuous monitoring. I haven't seen near real time. Say, I call it real time, but my American partners, no, no, no. A typical American, no, no, it's not near because the latency is only maximum 20 seconds. 20 seconds, I feel it's okay. So they said, no, 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 no. Technically, it's not correct. So I use the word near real time. Okay. Near real time with very, say, 4 to 20 seconds latency, continuously monitoring and continuously monitoring rhythm. So far I've been wireless. I'm saying wearable patch. We haven't come across anybody so far one. And we feel arrhythmia and ECG monitoring is very, very vital, and it opens information door for all other. If anything else is wrong, this can show you. So far, that's what we have seen. Okay. So since we do other things also, we go and correlate or try to map it with something is wrong here. We go and check the temperature, or something is right. This here we go and check the BP. Like this, our algorithm, and I will not say AI. Our alert engine is very good, which I feel is very important. So we actually concentrate more in the alert engine than the AI part of it, because AI is very deep, and I still feel uh, doctors are needed to treat patients. AI won't be able to handle. Why I'm saying that is, it's not that old school. No, no, technology cannot. I always feel each patient is different. You and I might have a same problem in test report, but the problem for me and problem for you is different. Even, say, for example, corporate, so I'm just an example. You and I have the same kind of cancer, or same degree. It's not same. For you, it's different. For me, it's different. So treatment will also be different. How the doctor handles you also will be different. So always, I feel the information has to be given to the doctor. End of the day, the doctor is the guy who's going to take that call. So that's why I'm saying AA is important, but end of the day, the decision will be from a human. That human intelligence is required, because you need to see the patient, you need the body language, the circumstance, his lifestyle. A lot of things are there. So I feel it's good if you're able to give the information at the right time. Rest has to be, the decision has to be from the doctor.
Yes, I agree. I mean, AI is basically assisting the human intelligence and not replacing it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, Hari, I understand that you have tested your, patches, equipment, etc., in various hospitals. Is it commercially live in any one hospital or more places?
No, yeah, we have gone commercial by last October or so. Uh, in large hospitals, we are in Apollo, for example. We are in Apollo Live commercial. We are in Kaveri. We are in Aster. Now we have gone commercial in KIMS, one of the another largest group in South in Hyderabad. KIMS Group in Aster. We just commercially entering Delhi also. We have finished. We have given the commercial proposal. We are at the finishing stage in Vedanta, and might be Gangaram also. Yeah,
Right.
Jaslok in Mumbai. Kind of we are spread, and we are also commercially in few government healthcare facilities also.
Uh-huh.
We are commercially in ESI and railway health service. Like that, few, and state government hospitals also, a few hospitals. Yeah.
Got it. So, Hari, is it only for patients who are admitted in the hospital, or is it a post discharge also that they're wearing these patches? So, the network that you're talking of, is it only within the hospital premises, or it is effective even outside when a patient is discharged and is at home care, and
Hmm.
yet can he be connected to the hospital?
Okay, so we started for a long time. We were doing only in-hospital monitoring for the patients within the hospital. That's what we started with, and we were very successful. And we one point we saw a lot of opportunity. It's not the right word, but I'm just using with patients who are going home. One, number two, why we started concentrating on. There's a small story there which I'd like to share. So we all along been seeing how the patient can be treated well, but we have not seen much the socioeconomic factor. We worked in tier two, tier three towns where the patients are daily breadwinners. Okay, if these patients can go home a day early, or they can go back in the same day, something like that, which actually helps them a lot. In fact, that helps them really, really, because I've seen most of them sleeping in the hospital itself, the entire family. Or if he doesn't go to work the next day, how is he going to pay the hospital bill? That kind of situation. A lot of people have that. So we started working on going out of the hospital with the biosensor, with the patch, and he can actually even go to work, and still it can be monitored, which makes things, which actually change the whole thing. Two things here changes is, one is when you give mobility, it's freedom for a patient. One. Second, if he's in his circumstance where he's working, that gives a lot of placebo effect. So you don't feel like a patient. So we started working on seamlessly migrating to a mobile app so that the patient can be discharged maybe a day early or the previous evening, so that he can go back home and next day he can go to work also. So recently, about in February,
Mhm.
we've been testing it, and we launched in February, where the patient can go home. So he can go home with the patch connected to a mobile phone,
Mhm.
but he cannot see the data.
Okay.
The hospital will see the data. He'll
Okay.
be still in the hospital screen, and he will, because two things here again. One, we don't want the patient to see the data, because patient won't know and he'll start googling about it
Correct.
and panic, all that. One. Number two, somebody has to see the data. Somebody well informed has to see the data.
Got it.
So we got the whole thing connected to the hospital, and he will be watched all the time. So only
Got it.
assurances, he will be watched. That's the
Got
only
it.
thing
So
we
the
do.
data gets uploaded to the cloud and then is available
Correct.
to
Correct.
the
Correct.
specialist to monitor it.
In the hospital. Yeah, correct.
Lovely,
Correct.
lovely.
Correct. Mm.
Now, Hari, how big is this opportunity that you're working on? Because this could be a game changer in terms of real-time data being available to take immediate corrective action, and could be life-changing or life-saving for many people, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, one is how big is the opportunity that you're working on in terms of
Okay.
numbers in the country, and what are you doing about taking this technology overseas?
Okay. Already, we have started uh, overseas. We have started because being the parent company, or my, I don't know how to call them now, joint venture partners, parent company, my friends, they are in the valley. They are in the Bay Area, and Life Signals is from California, from the Bay Area. So they are now in US and Europe also. We have just started going into the Europe market. Overseas, yes, we have slowly started going in because we first went in and got all the clearances and approvals. That's one thing. I don't think anybody else has got so many clearance and approvals in this monitoring field. Any big player, they don't have some. We have FDA to CE to Australian TGA, Singapore HSA, Malaysian MDA, Saudi FDA. We have a list of clearances and approvals, including Indian approval. So we are already in Western markets, slowly going in. India, I want to concentrate more on India because it's a huge market, and India requires something like this. Why I'm saying this is uh, the healthcare expenditure, either by the government, say even government is spending only our money. Okay, it's not government's money. It's going to come from us only. The healthcare expenditure, the big chunk goes to building infrastructure, which is required when the patient deteriorates. If you see, okay, your ICU, operation, post-op, all this is a big expense. That's where most of the money goes. If there is a system where it can alert before things deteriorate, you can actually, this big expenditure can come down big time. One. And the socio-economic factor, which I told you. If people can reduce one day stay in hospitals across India, that's a huge saving. And the people mindset changes. It's not the moment you get sick, you don't get scared. So we, Indian market, we want to go big way. And I'm doing a very behind the envelope math. Say patient average length of stay in hospital in government is about 4 days and in private is about 3 days. If I can bring it by 1 day less, and the difference is huge. One, how I'm planning to do it? Say about 2 million, 2 lakh beds there officially. Okay. Now I think this year they would have added, last 2 years they've added more than 40%. And we are looking at non-ICU beds because ICU already you made the spend and there are people there looking at. Though we do ICU level monitoring, and though no point doing it in ICU because they already have they have spent the capex. So non-ICU monitoring, and we have seen so far we have deployed on about close to 30,000 patients in India, commercial and non-commercial. In 30,000, so far we have saved about close to 3,000 lives. We have saved in the sense we help people save lives. 3,000 lives must be more. Officially, we have that record. Must be more. I don't know. And so in the initial phase itself, so you can do the math. So I'm saying if all these beds can be managed digitally, monitoring can be done digitally. I'm not saying I'm going to replace the nurses, but I can make the nurse more efficient, bring down her stress level, bring down her anxiety, and she can be much more efficient. And patient also gets the benefit out of it.
So, what is the
So
commercial size of the market that you're looking at?
that's very huge. That's very huge, actually. So commercial size is about monitoring, I'm just saying monitoring alone will be 6 billion.
Awesome. And
6
this is
billion
just
US
the Indian
dollar.
US dollar, but this is
Indian
just the
market.
Indian market.
Indian market
Awesome.
alone, I'm saying. And I'm only saying about the devices, leaving the rest of the things out. Okay.
Got it.
When just devices alone. Just devices alone.
And Hari, I've not seen any business without any challenges, whether it's
Yeah.
a human resources or finances or government approvals or getting access to the right hospital that would want to provide it. What are some of the challenges that you are facing as on date, and what are you doing about it?
Okay. So one is obviously any startup finance is the which we are somehow again the divine grace is helping us somewhere every time. So when we go closer, that's one challenge. But the major challenge I see is we are in the point where so when computers came, all the bank employees I remember went on a strike. There's a lot of thing happening because they all thought computers will steal their jobs. Okay, but in fact today the computers also increased and the job opportunities also increased today. We are in that moment in healthcare today because the nurses and doctors feel that devices will replace them. Most of the hospitals we go, so they're trying to push back, which we are trying to explain to them. At least doctors, it's a bit easier to explain, but the nurse, it's a bit difficult to explain. So that is one big. So they're not willing to because they're not willing to learn also. When we go for training, they don't even concentrate or they push it back. They're saying this is not working, that is not working. All this kind of things come up. That is the biggest challenge we are facing today.
Okay.
I think that will change because how when GPay came, people say no, no, no. It'll be, how will it be this that and all today without UPI payments? I think we'll be handicapped. That's how it is. I think in another 1 year, I think in another 1 year things will change. But we are in that moment, so it is bit like taking a pill. During that time, it's bit. It's we are in that stage. That
Got it.
is
So it's more of
one.
acceptance issues, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
please go ahead.
Because unless they accept, it's very difficult. Because at the end of the day, they are the users. They have to build a trust. So because I'm giving some data, based on the data, they're going to do something, which is life and death, maybe life and death also. So they have to trust and they have to know, okay, this is better. This comes in handy. I'm happy using this. So that's the moment we are in. So I
Got
think we will.
it. Got it. And Life Science recently raised funds.
Yeah.
And so, can you tell us more about it and what these funds are going to be used for?
Oh, say life science. We raised fund recently from an I don't know called pre-series A. That's what technically they say. We've been talking about this to a lot of people. Only thing is we don't have I don't have a group of people or a team who's doing it on full time. Okay, because we are more in the market, speaking to hospitals, going training and doing a lot of work. And I have a human resource challenge already because we are in a lot of geography. Say we are spread over, and before we could realize, we are in almost for 48 hospitals today, and our numbers have also increased. So we are not able to actually do a proper professional work in pitching and presenting and all that. We don't have time. And by the time we have some data, and we do it in the PPT format and all that, the data it changes, and we are growing very fast. And so I do now. So I spoke to the doctors also. A lot of doctors talk. So this is one of the doctors who uh, recently sold his venture to he had about 150 labs and which he sold to Metropolis, and he become a investor in a lot of companies because so he heard about our solution from some another doctor friend, and he approached us. It looked ulta. So he said, "It's good. I would like to try." So it's a conservative because we have not been funded adequately. But nevertheless, he is a very nice gentleman. He's a doctor, and his reputation is very good. He's a very ethical person, and I'm a bit aggressive guy, so I want somebody who can hold the horses. So he's a bit conservative man. So so it kind of happened, and we got the funding. But I think we will go for the next round ASAP because we are growing very fast.
Got it. Got it. So I understand you're going to be raising funds, but what are the future plans of Life Science? What can we look forward to hearing from you in the near future? I understand funding is definitely going to be a part of it. What about
Yeah.
expansion plans, etc.?
Okay. One thing my team says you shouldn't talk about this to other people and all. Don't publicize that because this is the game changer we have, our USP and all that. But today, what is nothing? People will come to know, and I don't mind sharing because the good. Our say we feel we are successful today because we have an army of people who stay in the hospital and make sure the solution is deployed very well. We call them hospital support executives. We have hospital support executives in each and every hospital we are in. And some hospitals we have 3, 4 people running 24/7 shifts. They will be there, they train the nurses on the go and they build up relationship within the system so that the nurse don't take this as more it becomes a relationship built and processes trained to them.
Yeah.
And we also help the doctors to understand the dashboard. And we also be there to sometimes if the patient says, what is this, that, and all. So we try to explain the patient also.
Right.
Fourth, we also take feedback because we are in the ground. So
Mhm.
we know what is happening. So we take a lot of feedback from these people.
Mhm.
So we keep tweaking the products. That's why the product we see every week we are releasing something or other new with our solution. So this army of people will is the game changer we feel,
Right.
and we want to increase this army of people.
Right.
And yeah, if you look at the numbers, it looks a bit scary. My HR guy says it's very scary because if you are going to have 3 or 4 people in every hospital I'm going to be,
Mhm.
then I will be having army of people, which I want to do it mainly because one, I'll be giving jobs to a lot of people.
Mhm.
Second is this job is a very every training session I say this. A lot of people don't get opportunity to save a life or at least help save a life. Okay, you guys get this. You paid for it, and you also get an opportunity. When you first time when they save a life, and the family members come to you and talk. That none of this my support executives they can't forget in their life. That's why my attrition there is it's next to zero. Because we tell them you do something really nice, and that makes a lot of difference for that family and that person.
Mhm.
And in that process, you start loving the job and you make money.
Lovely.
In turn, that helps me also
Yeah.
as a businessman if I see
Correct.
commercially. So we feel that's a big thing. That's going to be a challenge, but that's going to be the game changer for us.
It has been lovely conversing with you because I understand that HR and human resources could be a challenge, and the speed at which you're growing, it could be a challenge which will come sooner than later. But I
Mm.
think it's a good problem to have.
Exactly.
And second is, I hear from you is that when it's at the end of the day, it is a business venture. But if it is money that you're making out of doing good, then
Mm.
you're doing the right thing. And that is a very satisfying experience. And I can
Yeah.
sense that in your expressions, the satisfaction that you are deriving out of this whole
Yeah.
exercise that you're doing. And, what I also kind of picked up was that, healthcare is a need-based business.
Yeah. Mm.
And when it is out of solving a problem that you yourself had faced, then it becomes a purpose-driven, exercise, and that success is a sweet success. So
Yeah.
it's a very beautiful journey that I hear from you. I wish you all the best and life science in doing this good and bringing a lot of opportunity to save lives in the industry. So thank you so much for joining us. It has been
Thank you.
such a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Pleasure speaking to you.